What if I told you that some of the most popular plants in your garden are secretly sabotaging your harvest? That they are sucking up precious space, time, and nutrients only to give you almost nothing back in return? If you are tired of working hard for a meager yield, then stick around, because today we are exposing the biggest space hogs in the garden and why you need to ditch them for good. Welcome to Low Input Living, where we maximize output with minimal effort. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Low Input Living. On this channel, we are all about smart, efficient gardening. We want to get the biggest bang for our buck, the most food for our effort, and the highest yield from every square inch of our garden. But here is the harsh reality. Not all plants are created equal. Some are just greedy. They demand a huge footprint, a ton of resources, and in return, they offer a disappointing harvest. This isn't about shaming any plant. It's about making smart choices for your garden, especially if space is limited. When we talk about low input living, we are talking about energy ROI, the return on your investment of time, water, fertilizer, and physical labor. Let's kick things off with the undisputed king of garden space waste. Sweet corn. Oh, it looks so majestic, towering over everything in the summer sun. But here is the catch that many new gardeners don't realize. For successful pollination, corn needs to be planted in a block, not a single row. Because corn is wind pollinated, the pollen from the tassels at the top needs to fall onto the silks of the ears below. If you plant them in a long, thin line, the wind just blows that pollen away, and you end up with ears that are missing half their kernels. We are talking about dedicating at least a 4x4 foot area just to get the basics right. And for all that dedicated space, how many ears do you actually get per stalk? Usually just one, maybe two if you're lucky, and the weather is perfect. Think about the math for a second. 16 square feet of your best garden soil for maybe 15 to 20 ears of corn. If you live near any farming community, you can buy a dozen ears of high-quality corn at the grocery store or a roadside stand for just a few dollars. Corn is also a heavy feeder. It requires massive amounts of nitrogen and consistent deep watering to produce those sugary kernels. It is also a magnet for pests like corn, earworms, and raccoons who will wait until the night before you plan to harvest to ruin everything. Frankly, for the average home gardener, it is just not worth the real estate. Unless you have acres to spare, corn is a prime candidate for the chopping block in your low-input garden. Next up, the garden conquerors, vining pumpkins and watermelons. These guys are the ultimate sprawl masters. A single pumpkin or watermelon plant can easily take over 15 to 20 feet of your garden, sending out aggressive tendrils in every direction. They don't just sit there. They actively climb over your peppers, shade out your carrots, and eventually escape the garden bed to take over your lawn. And what do you get for this massive territorial takeover? Often just 2 or 3 fruits per plant. They hog sunlight, they hog nutrients, and they hog water, leaving very little for their neighbors. While they are fun to grow, especially for kids, from a low-input, high-yield perspective, they are a major liability. The energy the plant puts into growing 30 feet of vine is energy that isn't going into food you can eat. My advice? If you absolutely must grow them, opt for smaller, bush varieties or get serious about vertical trellising. But even then, the weight of a watermelon requires a specialized sling and a very heavy-duty support system. Otherwise, save your space for something more productive. Now, let's talk about the brassicas, specifically broccoli and cauliflower. These are beautiful plants with huge waxy leaves that look great in the early morning dew. But they are also incredibly inefficient for the space they demand. A single plant can grow 2 to 3 feet wide, occupying a significant footprint for months on end. And what is the big payoff? One single head. That is it. Once you cut that head, the plant's primary contribution to your kitchen is over. Sure, broccoli might give you some tiny side shoots for a week or two, but the main event is a one-and-done deal. They are also absolute pest magnets. Cabbage worms, aphids, and harlequin bugs love them. It is a constant battle of picking off caterpillars or using organic sprays just to keep the leaves from looking like Swiss cheese. For the amount of space and effort, you could be growing multiple rounds of fast-growing leafy greens or other high-yield crops. When you consider that you can buy a head of broccoli for $2 at any store year-round, dedicating 9 square feet of your garden to one head just doesn't align with the low-input philosophy. Unless you have a specific passion for the flavor of homegrown cauliflower, these are often better left to the large-scale commercial farms. And finally, we have the high-maintenance diva of the garden, celery. Many gardeners try it once and never again, and for good reason. It takes an incredibly long time to mature, sometimes up to 140 days from seed to harvest. That is nearly 5 months of prime growing season dedicated to one single bunch of celery. It is also one of the pickiest plants you can grow. It demands constant, heavy moisture. If the soil dries out even once, the stalks become tough and hollow. It needs incredibly rich soil and often requires a process called blanching, where you cover the stalks with cardboard or soil to keep them from becoming bitter. And after all that effort, homegrown celery can often be tough, stringy, and far more intense than what you are used to. For the space and the sheer amount of babysitting it requires, celery is a prime example of a low-return investment. So, if we are ditching the space hogs, what should we be growing instead? This is where the low-input living strategy really shines. We want to focus on the value-to-space ratio. Think about crops that are expensive to buy at the store but easy to grow at home. Herbs are the perfect example. A tiny plastic clamshell of fresh basil or cilantro can cost $3 or $4. For that same price, you can buy a packet of seeds that will produce pounds of herbs all season long in just 1 square foot of space. Next, think about cut and come again crops. Instead of a head of cabbage that you harvest once, grow loose leaf lettuce, kale, or Swiss chard. You can harvest the outer leaves every few days, and the plant just keeps producing more. 1 square foot of kale can feed you for months, whereas 1 square foot of cauliflower feeds you for 1 meal. Don't forget about vertical high yielders like pole beans and cherry tomatoes. A single cherry tomato plant, grown vertically on a simple stake, can produce hundreds of fruits over the summer. They are more disease resistant than the giant beefsteak varieties and provide a constant supply of snacks and salad toppings. Pole beans are another favorite. They grow up, not out, meaning you get a massive harvest from a tiny footprint of soil. Reclaim your garden beds. Stop letting these space-hungry plants dictate your harvest. By choosing crops that fit your space and provide a continuous high-value return, you are moving closer to a truly sustainable, low-input lifestyle. It is about working with nature, not fighting against it for a single ear of corn. What are your personal garden space hogs? Have you ever grown something that just wasn't worth the effort? Let me know your stories in the comments below. I love hearing about your gardening journeys. And if you found this deep dive helpful, please smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow and allows us to keep bringing you these tips. Subscribe to Low Input Living for more smart gardening strategies, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Until next time, happy gardening, and remember, grow smarter, not harder.